Ilya! Oliver, call me by your name, and I'll call you by mine.
Alastair reviews it.
Guest starring Zachary Garcia. We have another weekend movie review for you today. Today, which is tomorrow.
Here.
Yes.
Now.
Good morning. Good afternoon. So Zach is back.
Zach is back. I am not taking over Alastair's channel, everybody. I'm not. He has forced me to be here. I told him. Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Why'd you push me?
Shut the fuck up. You scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry. You
need to bleep that stuff.
No. I have a horrible mouth. But I told Alastair that it might be better if I step off of the video so that this is completely his channel, completely his gig.
I enjoy doing the movie stuff with you. So
he has asked me to do the movie reviews with him, so I will be here on a weekly basis doing movie reviews.
Your buddy?
My buddy.
Your buddy?
My buddy. Pete.
So on Friday, we went and saw Tonya. I still have the post notes right here. It's directed by Greg Gillespie. I'm going to say Gillespie. And it's adapted by Stephen Rogers, starring Margot Robbie, Sebastian Stan, and Allison Janney.
So for those of y'all who don't know about the Tonya Harding story, the Tonya Harding scandal, Tonya Harding was an Olympic skater, a figure skater who she started skating at like the age of 3 and pretty much left high school at 15 in order to skate full time. And so this movie is all about her story from the time she started skating to around the time after the famous Tonya Harding incident happened, the scandal, where I don't even know if this isn't considered a spoiler. This is history.
Well, I didn't know about it until the movie.
Tonya Harding was notorious. She wasn't really famous, more notorious for being involved in the injury of another skater by the name of Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy Kerrigan had been practicing on the ice and came off the ice, and somebody came and whacked her in the leg with a baton and took off running, and it almost broke Nancy Kerrigan's leg, but it only bruised her leg, and she ended up going to the Olympics along with Tonya Harding, and Tonya Harding had some involvement in it. The extent of the involvement is still, in question. She says she had nothing to do with it, didn't have any knowledge of it.
I'm gonna go by what the movie said.
So the whole movie is centered around Tonya Harding's life, not so much about the incident. The incident is more of a brief part. The whole movie is more of a portrait of Tonya Harding, as presented through the filmmaker's eyes.
After watching this movie, I changed my mind. Margot Robbie should get the Oscar for lead actress for this performance.
For Best Actress?
I do. I definitely changed my mind. She was amazing in it. Like, she slipped a couple times in terms of her accent, but I could definitely see that she's a very talented actress. After watching this, she's played a role that's different from anything else that she's ever played, and I think she nailed it.
I do think she nailed it. Her accent did come in and out. But I did think she was very, very good. I'm not sure if I want her to win, but I do think she was very good. Sebastian Stan was phenomenal in this, I thought. He played Tonya Harding's on-off again husband, Jeff Gillooly, who was quintessential in this whole plot to injure Nancy Kerrigan. No, that's part of history. That's not a spoiler. No. I loved Sebastian Stan. I loved his mustache in this. He was so cute to me. I
think he was miscast. I think he should have been casted by somebody who could have played a creepier guy. So
I wish Alastair would grow a mustache.
I think I like Sebastian Stan. I just don't think that this was the right.
Allison Janney. What do you think of her? You think?
I think her. It's between her and Laurie Metcalf. For me, for the Oscars, because before I would have just said Laurie Metcalf, but now she did so well.
She was really good. She
did so well.
Tonya Harding's mother, an alcoholic, abusive mother, and she was really good. So
I relate to her mother so much.
The tone of the movie, it's a black comedy, so it's very dramatic, but it's also it throws comedy in there so that to sort of break up the tension. And
'cause some
Allison
things are
Janney's
funny.
comedic timing and the fucked up things that she says are very good. She has very good comedic timing, and she's a very good actress in this. She perfectly embodied this role of Tonya Harding's mother. I think Lavera, whatever her name was.
Laverne.
Laverne, that's what it was.
Laverne.
Okay.
And actually, Stephen Rogers, the writer for it, not the Captain America, wrote the part specifically for her.
Did he?
Yeah, they're actually really good friends, and he wrote the part.
Well, it's hard to
for her.
write a part.
Well, he wrote the part with her in mind.
He didn't. Oh, okay. So he had her in mind to cast it because it's a real person. This is a real person.
Yeah. I liked it. I was entertained the entire movie. It was. I knew something bad was going to happen. I didn't let myself look up anything about Tonya Harding before it because I wanted to be surprised. And really, I just got really nervous during all the skating sequences. My impression from this is that Tonya Harding, like watching it, it's like the American dream. Like this woman is achieving the American dream and then everything just goes wrong. And that fills me with anxiety.
And she's not even there yet. She's on the brink of the American dream, and then all of her hard work is taken away. But so the film painted a very like one-way vision of Tonya Harding's story. There are plenty of different people who have different opinions. Some people say that Tonya Harding wasn't training hard enough, and that is why she didn't do so well at the Olympics. Some people said that she was involved in the scandal, and etc. etc.
Which they did depict in the movie. The movie is based off of interviews from different people. So it's actually supposed to be based on different points of views. It doesn't really focus on the scandal itself because it tries to take the independent view of... It tries to take a view that's away from that.
Yeah.
A view that other people would take within that situation. And tries to give Tonya Harding a fair chance at telling her story.
Very true. Which is hold on. That's what I wrote down in my notes because I've got my notes right here. Alastair has his notes on his computer, so that leads into this note. I loved the framework of the story, and like he said, it's told through interviews, and everybody's giving their account of specific events in Tonya's life, and whether she was right, whether she was wrong, whether she's lying, whether she's telling the truth, and it's just a bunch of unreliable narrators. Everybody has something different to say, and in that way, and I think it's even stated in the film, and the trailer, that the truth doesn't matter because nobody's really going to know the truth except for the people who were there, and even still, there's a big chance that everybody's trying to save their own butt and nobody's going to tell the truth. So the truth doesn't matter. It's full of unreliable narrators, and it's really just up to you to paint your own picture of how things went down.
Yeah, do your own research. And this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer. She's looking in the mirror, she has makeup on her face, and she smiles. And you can see so much emotion in her face. It is crazy the amount of emotion Margot Robbie is able to display on her face in that moment. Yeah. And you can feel it. You can understand what she is feeling. Oh my goodness,
but the thing is, Margot Robbie is easily able to transfer those emotions into her performance because there's all this archival footage and all these televised footage of the real Tonya Harding, and the real Tonya Harding was very expressive on the ice. And when she was having a hard day, you could see it on her face. And go look up Tonya Harding skating videos. There's one where she's at the Olympics and she's just completely stressed out, and you see it on her face. She breaks down, she starts crying, and it's just. So it wasn't like she had to come up and pull emotions out of nowhere.
Down there.
Yeah. We'll put links.
I thought that Craig Gillespie did a really good job directing that movie.
I think so too. I think he did very good directing it, and Margot Robbie did really well producing it. Because I'm assuming usually celebrities and actors and actresses will get a vanity title of producer. And I don't think this was a vanity title. I think Margot Robbie had a quintessential role in putting this film together.
So for next, Mazerunner, Death Cure. Director Wes Ball, writers T.S. Nolan, book by James Dashner, and starring Dylan O'Brien. This movie is about a terrorist group that is trying to stop a government organization from saving humanity.
Is that the real synopsis?
That is not the real synopsis, but it should be.
They're not technically considered a terrorist group in the movie, but I do have to agree with you. I would view them as a terrorist group.
Young hero Thomas embarks on a mission to find a cure for a deadly disease known as the flare. He does not embark on a mission to find a cure for the deadly disease called the flare. He does not do that. That is a lie. So I did really enjoy Dylan O'Brien, but I hated his character. I absolutely hated his character. He would make the most stupidest, most selfish decisions. I couldn't believe he was a protagonist. I just couldn't do it.
I would have to say he's one of the worst protagonists I've ever seen in a series.
It was freaking
one of the worst. I had a lot of trouble seeing him as a leader, and seeing why people would even follow him. Mm-hmm. What was his name? Will Poulter was in the movie, and I thought Will Poulter made a much better leader than. And I'm not hating on Dylan O'Brien, but I'm hating on the character than Thomas.
Our biggest problem was the script. Our biggest problem with the script, the way he said things, the cliches in the movie, it was horrible. But they actually hired him. Well, they put him on again to write the third script for this movie.
I did like the third movie though. Overall, I did really like it. I thought it was a really good movie-going experience. We saw it on IMAX, and my buddy Patton would not like me saying. He would not like me saying anything bad about it, but I did like it. And I know he's gonna watch this. I did think that it was a movie. Like, what did you think about the women in it? Because I thought that the women pretty much owned this movie.
Oh damn! I don't remember her name.
The doctor?
Dr. Wicked, yeah. Patricia Clarkson, I think, was my favorite part of the movie. She was the hero in the movie, in my opinion. And actually, looking back at it, she's been the hero in the movie for 3 movies straight. She was my favorite character.
Well, I really liked Teresa. Teresa is technically Thomas's love interest in the series. She believed in her cause, and it was against all of her friends, and so she was technically a traitor. But she believed in her cause so much, and she was so unwavering with it that it to me painted her as a true leader and as a true like heroine, hero, protagonist. Mm-hmm. She was fantastic, and I don't know, I loved her. I think the actress was perfectly cast.
I guess you're right. The females in the movie were definitely much better. Even their scripts were much better than the males in the movie. I think so. So it was actually made with a $62 million budget, and it's basically, as Entertainment Weekly calls it, a B movie on an A budget. So this is a plus for Wes Ball, the director of the movie, that he was able to stretch $62 million and make it look as great as he made it look. It looked like
it looked
like a big
blockbuster movie, like over $100 million. But yeah, it was apparently a much cheaper movie to film. The action sequences were just ace.
It was visually very good looking. And you could definitely see the world building that was put into play there.
Last note, I hated the ending. Did you hate the ending? I think we both hated the ending.
It's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. I hope the book is better than this. On Sunday, we watched Call Me by Your Name.
You asked for it. Everybody asked for it. That was the one that everybody wanted us to watch.
So it's from director Luca Guadagnino. Writers James Ivory, book by Andre Aikman, stars Armie Hammer, not Armand Hammer, and Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, yes.
Is he really the heir of the Armie?
He is. That's why he's named Armie Hammer.
Oh, I did not get that.
Poor Armie Hammer, though, has had such a rough go of it trying to get his acting career off the ground. I mean, he's a good actor and he gets roles, but he's not reached any acclaim, as of yet, I don't think.
Do you want to do the synopsis?
Did you know he was in The Social Network? He was the twins.
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Call Me By Your Name. It's pretty much, in a nutshell, about hold on, I want to see if I get the ages right. Armie Hammer plays Oliver, who is an American student who goes to northern Italy to stay with a family, and in that family there's a teenage son named Emilio who is 17. Emilio has a crush on... Elio. Elio has there's a little romance there. There's a little
Chemistry.
little fling there. Summer loving.
Summer tryst.
Yeah, it's people corrected me. It's a tryst.
Tryst.
Somebody said beginning of try and end of wrist. Tryst.
We watched this movie, and it was a movie that I really needed to settle into. I had to actually look back at it and digest the movie before I truly enjoyed it.
I agree.
Because I was watching the movie and I was just watching it, and I think we were taking it in, but we weren't like amazed while we were watching it. And it was definitely a movie that I had to like digest. I had to sit down and think about.
Yeah, I think the first half of the movie I just wasn't into it, and I kept thinking, why does everybody like this so much? And then after the movie was done, I really sat and I thought about it, and I understood more so what it was truly about. And I think that is what made the difference for me, and that's what actually did make me like it.
So what stays with me is how all the characters act in such a natural way. So like all of the characters act in a way that I think is natural, and I think Timothy Chalamet I think does a really good job.
Yeah, he
at acting weird AF. Sometimes.
Well, he's overall in the movie, he's great at portraying. Like I think all the actors are portraying real human emotion and real human behavior more so than emotion, because you don't have all of the actors doing these huge dramatic monologues and like huge crying scenes and like, you know, throwing things around the room and like really like what you would expect from an Oscar nominated performance, but they are perfect at portraying human behavior, and human behavior is something I'm very, very interested in. I think we both are.
Yeah, and that's why we really liked it, because of how they actually acted in a natural way. So all the emotions seemed very genuine, and you really felt for Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer.
I really do think like Timothy Chalamet, like his Oscar nomination is very deserved, and I didn't really understand it at first, and then as I got to the end of the movie, it was one moment that I thought was very deserved. That boy acts through the end credit scene. You think usually end credit, I don't want to like this isn't really a spoiler, but the end credits are played over the end of the movie, so it doesn't just like the end of the movie happens and then end credits. No, that boy is acting throughout the entire end credit scene. It's just him.
It's actually got a lot of praise for its end credits and its opening credits too. Armie Hammer, I don't think that this is the best we've seen of him, but I think it was really good. I don't think it's Oscar worthy, but I definitely enjoyed him in the movie, and I thought he was the right choice for the movie.
I thought so too. I just thought Armie Hammer was kind of playing Armie Hammer. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people out there like Armie Hammer, and I do too, but he was just playing Armie Hammer. Just a gay Armie Hammer.
Yeah. I really enjoy indie movies. Specifically LGBT indie movies, because that's where they usually come from. And that's where they usually get gay right, honestly. So foreign gay movies, and it felt like an indie movie that just happened to get big.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is definitely a diamond in the rough, and I'm glad that it's getting the recognition it deserves, because I really didn't get the hype about it. Thought, just another gay movie. I'm a little bit.
Another gay movie. I was so upset at him for that, because I was like, you realize this is the next step forward for us.
It is, but I'm a little bit tired of seeing gay movies that it's just a gay movie about a gay love story where somebody's straight and it's just so hard to be gay and
or coming out.
Yeah, we've seen those. I'm ready to see a normal movie, and this is like you have said this movie is like helping that. It's helping to get to this, but I'm ready to see a movie that is like
a gay protagonist in an action movie, for example.
Yeah, like an action movie, but the protagonist just so happens to be gay but it's not like the gay storyline has made this huge big deal.
Yeah, it's just a casual thing.
I'm ready for it to be normalized. I'm ready.
That's what I want too, but I enjoy these movies. And these movies,
I do too.
I enjoy these movies.
I do too. I'm ready to move past, because it seems like when you have a gay movie that's nominated and stuff like that, the huge focus is just the gay storyline, the gay love storyline, and it's overdone now. Like we're ready to evolve past that.
It is a huge focus, but I feel like it wasn't that big of a focus in Call Me by Your Name, because people really didn't focus so much on them being gay. It just felt like a movie that, like you said, most people could actually understand.
Timothée Chalamet was very good. I could have seen Troye Sivan playing that role also. Just because the entire time I was watching, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, that's Troye Sivan, just with brown eyes. That's Troye Sivan, oh goodness. It reminded me a lot of Troye Sivan's Blue Neighborhood, like, trilogy of music videos. Even though, like, the storyline was much different.
Well, I think we're at a stopping point.
No, plenty more notes.
You have more notes?
I have more notes. This might be a longer video. Do you want to? Are you at the end of your notes? Okay. Well, let's just go through my notes, and then you can talk more about them.
Ask me questions about your notes.
Okay. Okay. I do have questions. Biggest things in this was lost love, unrequited love, and infatuation. For most of the movie, I was kind of even questioning whether there was going to be an actual love storyline, or if it was just infatuation with this young 17-year-old boy infatuated with this 24-year-old man. And it does turn out to be a love story, by the way. But
I don't really. I don't look at. Sorry, this is side. But I don't look at Armie Hammer and think he's 24. I think he's 32.
I think so too. But I looked it up and he was 24. I thought he was supposed to be like 31, 32. Nope. But infatuation is a huge thing, and all of us know infatuation. And like for instance, like in high school, I remember I had this high school teacher. He was like a student teacher.
Oh my goodness, if you're watching.
He was actually turned out, side note, plot twist, turned out to be in one of my favorite bands from middle school. And I instantly recognized him and had a crush on him the entire time he was like practicing his teaching in our classroom. And so, but I was like so infatuated with this dude. And I thought that Timothée Chalamet's character was going to just be infatuated with Armie Hammer. And I thought that actually would have been a really interesting storyline as just an infatuation storyline and not so much a love storyline. I'm glad with what we got, but I'm not.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't get to call each other by their names.
Okay, next one. Was it love? So everybody's going into this. We call it a gay love storyline, a love storyline. Do you think, this love between these two characters?
I do not think it was love. I think it was infatuation. Because it felt like
mutual
infatuation.
though.
No, it was definitely mutual infatuation. It felt like a summer love story. Summer love.
Just a summer fling, yeah.
No, it feels like the intense emotions of having that one first crush.
Yeah.
Like those intense emotions that just tear you down. And it's like the first time that you open yourself up to that.
And it's so like...
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so intense and it's so like rich and it's so there that you do think, oh my gosh, this is love. But when you really step back and think about it, like, no, it's not love. That's not love. I don't know. I think the question of was it love is for the viewer to interpret.
I agree.
You say it wasn't love. I would say it wasn't love either. Next, pedophilia. Pedophilia is nothing to laugh about, but I was so confused throughout the whole movie. Like, what am I watching? Is this a pedophile?
Okay, so...
Is he a pedophile? He's 24.
It made me feel a little uncomfortable. There's a scene towards the beginning of the movie that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, almost bordering on sexual harassment, I thought. Like, somebody could think of it that way.
Was it the scene...
Shut up. But no, it could be a totally natural scene, but just the way
it happened was very weird. It was very
odd.
It was a little uncomfortable. The question of was Armie Hammer technically a pedophile? Was he technically? He was having this fling with a 17-year-old kid.
The kid was 17 though. In some states, that's not pedophilia.
Well, it's Northern Italy. I don't know what Northern Italy says about that. I think at the time that this was happening, I don't know if being gay was legal in Northern Italy, but like at the time this was happening, you have to remember that it's the AIDS epidemic. People are not.
It was right before
really,
the AIDS epidemic.
It was right before the. Okay, I wasn't clear on that. But you got to keep in mind that it was very. The subject of being gay was very taboo, and it was very uncomfortable for everybody. So I don't know. I think so. He was 17, 24-year-old. When I first thought that he was 31, so the entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking he's 31, 32. And I was definitely thinking, like, this is inappropriate. This isn't an appropriate relationship. Knowing he's 24, does that make it better? That's a question I'm going to leave.
Well, it makes it closer to his age.
Yeah, and it makes it closer to his age, but, like, does it make it better? I'm going to leave. I really want to hear everybody's opinions on that. Can I say that? Can I call to action in the comment section?
I really want to hear everybody's opinion on that.
Yeah, do you think it was pedophilia? Okay, no spoilers in the comments, though. Okay, next, I'm going to ask you about... Okay, we've got the rules. Film is overall look of the film. From setting to cinematography.
Okay. I loved it, honestly. I thought the setting was perfect. It made you feel like you were in the situation. Like Northern Italy, like is a place
beautiful.
Where you're bound to fall in love anyways. And so you could definitely understand that from the characters.
Okay, so the cinematography, the camera work was not very extravagant. It was like nothing special. Absolutely nothing. Hold on. I'm going to get to how you feel about it because I know how you feel about it. It was extremely extremely boring and very plain, very subtle, but it was heightened because of the setting. Would you agree? Because they didn't do much except for like close-up shots and wider shots.
I think that was the point of it, to make it simple.
Well, yes.
And I really enjoyed shots where the camera would just stay in place and would let everything roll in front of the camera. So you would just see people go wherever they're going, and the camera didn't follow those people around, and I liked it because it felt like you were just a bystander there standing, watching this unfold.
Yes, but if you would have seen it, so we saw that play out in Northern Italy. If you had seen it in contrast to, but if it had been somewhere else, do you think that the camera choices would have been as effective?
No, but that's kind of part of cinematography. You have to know when something's going to be effective. And when
well, no, I'm not criticizing the camera choice. I did at first. I kept thinking, like, this is very plain. This is very, unexciting. But the more I thought about it, it's like, well, really, this is beautiful. This is amazing. This is a painting because of the setting that these characters are in. And it adds so much to the camera work that the camera doesn't have to do these huge sweeping, like, motions and doesn't have to glide and swing and go upside down and shit. It doesn't need all that.
I hate when it goes upside
It's
down.
just good just being there and letting the viewer just behold everything that's there. Would you say this movie is very heavily time stamped, or would you consider this movie timeless?
I would consider it a timeless movie. So the one critique I've seen from other critics is that it doesn't feel like it is in the early 1980s. Like, you don't exactly see where it is for gay people, gay rights and stuff like that at that time. So you might not exactly understand Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer's struggle with their sexuality. I disagree.
So you don't think they should have featured more of that?
I think there's a scene where there's a poster that says 1981. And that's enough.
Okay. So I would agree. I think it's more timeless than time stamped. And so I'm going to contradict myself here. I did say earlier that I want to see gay movies that are not gay movies, that are just movies that happen to have a gay main character. Okay, so this movie in ways was like that because there was no timestamp, because it felt more timeless, and they didn't really bring up the circumstance or the context that these characters were all in, like the AIDS epidemic and all of that, and where gay people were at the time. We never really heard anything about that. I thought that was a good choice because it focused more on story than it did on these gay people are having sex.
It focused more on the infatuation between them than the fact that they were men and being infatuated.
Because that was what the movie was about. It was about the human emotion, human behavior. It was not about and there are plenty of movies out there that are all about the AIDS epidemic and gay people fighting for their rights, and those are fantastic movies. There are great movies out there, but this was not trying to be one of those. And so I do think they succeeded in what they were trying to do, and it's very separate from... Those are two very separate types of movies.
Yeah.
And the timelessness, I didn't even really know what time period it was supposed to be because it was so timeless, because everybody was just dressed so,
They were dressed in a way that you could dress nowadays.
It was.
Well, gentle viewers, this is yet another weekend movie review with Alastair Patton, guest starring Zachary Garcia from Adventures of Zach and B. I want you guys to tell me what movies you would like us to watch, please, and have a good day.
La cucaracha.
No.
Fluent in movies.
Hey, are you a subscriber? Please subscribe. There's videos that you can watch. Watch the videos. Click on another video. Like to make you part of the Alastair Reviews family. That was really weird.